Welcome to Driver 38 Knives. This week we're going to look at a 1981 Case Trapper brown bone. This is the first knife I ever bought with my own money. I worked around odd jobs for mom and daddy and saved up my money, and I bought this new in 1981. And this knife was instrumental in building this bow here. I got on a bow making kick around 2000, made about 5 bows. I used a spade blade on this knife right here to do final scraping on all my bows. In a minute, we're going to look at this knife on the tailgate of my truck in detail. And after we get through looking at the knife, we'll look at the bow in detail, up close. And then I'm going to show y'all some tools I use to work the bow besides the knife. And I'll show y'all some books that I ordered and read and told me how to do all this stuff. And at the end of the video, I got a couple of arrows and we'll shoot at the target out there in the yard. Okay, let's get to looking at this knife. This is a Case Trapper 1981 model. It's a brown bone. Has the CV or carbon steel blades, the ones that turn, they used to have back in that era. I bought this knife new in 1981. I was 17 when I bought this knife, and I bought it with my own money. It's the first knife I bought with my own money. I had saved up from doing odd jobs and stuff. Okay, let's look at this clip blade. This blade's been tinkered up, took off, tinkered up, took off many times. Right here's the tang on it. It has the lightning bolt S's for the 80s. It's got 9 dots on it for the 1981. It has the brown bone, and it has the classic oval case shield. And this bone here, I don't know what the correct name for the jigging is, but that's the kind of jigging that they put on knives in the 70s, early 80s. And they also, whatever knife steel this is, they made the springs out of the same steel. So you see how they've tinkered up and darkened. And I like that. It looks really good contrasting with the brass. Of course, you see all these markings on it. That's where a foolish young man as I was, I would be pecking on stuff and hammering on stuff. I didn't take good care of my knives back then, and it shows on this one. Has a spade blade here. And this blade here has the model number here, 6254. And this blade here is the large part of this video. Is about the bow making kick I was on, making bows. And I would hold this knife like this right here and use this blade like this to make the final scraping on that bow around the knots and around irregularities in the wood where the flat cabinet scraper couldn't get to. You could get in here with a knife and kind of dig and scrape with, and that's the way I used it. Also, these knives from the 70s and early 80s, I guess it's them carbon steel or CV back springs, but buddy, they really got it. You hear that? Listen to this. Knives today don't seem to snap like these. I don't know. But anyway, another thing, I lost this knife for about 3 years. My daddy died in '85. I was 20 when my daddy died. and I was 17 when I bought this knife, and I didn't have it long, and it went missing. And after my daddy died, I always sat in his chair, in his recliner, and watched TV when he wasn't in there. And after he died, we decided to move his chair somewhere else. And when we was moving his chair, I heard a big kaplump come out on the floor. And it was this knife. It had been in his chair for 2.5 years or so there. So that's another little story about this knife. It has a lot of stories. All right then, let's get to looking at that bow. Okay, we're gonna get a close look at this bow, and then I'm gonna tell you some of the tools and how I made it, and then I'm gonna show a couple books that I learned how to do this. And y'all guys, y'all pause when I start showing them books. Y'all can hit pause on there, and y'all can get the name and stuff, because I'm gonna go through them I'm gonna have to go pretty quick. And y'all stick with it now, because at the end we're gonna shoot this thing at a target out in the yard. Okay, I know y'all wondering about the glasses. I'm in disguise. I'm doing a Clark Kent. Most of the time I'm Superman, but I'm gonna do a Clark Kent right now. Okay, let's get to looking at this bow. All right, start right down here at the string end. Go down pretty close where you can see them. All right, right here at the tip. First off, I got the string on here with a timber hitch. And the reason you do that is because when you're making a bow, you really don't know what length string you're gonna need for the poundage and the brace height and all that. So you use a timber hitch on the bottom, and you adjust it as you go for your poundage and brace height, which is how far the string is away from the bow. Okay, let's look at, right here was a knot I had to work around. Let's come on up this way. Okay, right here was some pin knots we had to work around. That's why I made it a little bit wider right here to give it some more support. These books tell you about what to do when you come up on a knot. Right here's the information I put on there. I put it under the finish, so that's under the polyurethane. It's 63 inches long for an Osage orange, and it pulls about 48 pounds at 25 inches. And I think I pull around 28, 29 inches, about 28 inches on a Longbow. And I used to go by Mac before I went by driver 38. Right here's what they call a fade out. Right here's the black leather grip. And this leather right here, I had a buddy back then that worked at Mercedes in Tuscaloosa. And this is some of the leather scraps from the Mercedes seats. Right here's a fade out. Going around to the other tip there. Okay, right here. Stop right here and zoom in on that. Right here there was a knot right on the side right here. And I'd already cut off too much wood to make a bubble around it. So you can't put it back on when you cut it off. So I put sinew wrap around there just in case. All right, come on up. I put sinew wrap right here because there was a knot on the back pretty good. And I put sinew wrap right there for just in case. Now this bow ain't never cracked or nothing, but I put it on there just in case. All right, and right here's the tip on the other side. All right, let's flip her over. All right, this right here is oak. Piece of oak overlay glued on there, epoxied on there. I use the epoxy, but that's on there to keep the string from digging in and cutting up your snake skin. All right, these right here are timber rattler snake skins. My brother-in-law worked for a logger. He run the thing that cut the tree down, fell buncher or something like that, what they call it. Start right here at the handle. Anyway, he killed these 2 snakes in the woods while he was logging, and brought me the snakes, and we skinned them out and dried the skins. They scaled them. You have to get the scales off of them. But anyway, we got these snakes from around here when he was logging. And come on this way. Right here's this knot I was telling you about. It sticks up pretty good. And it made a little bubble there with the polyurethane because I had it upside down. But anyway, it's still good right there. And come on this way. Right here I got an oak overlay on the bottom tip. All right, come back up to the handle. I got this handle wrap. I got it sewn with the same thing I made the bowstring out of. And this is made out of Osage orange wood. And it's actually 2 pieces of Osage orange. I cut it on the bandsaw in a scissor splice, like this right here. And glued it together, epoxied it together, just like that. This is 2 pieces spliced just like that. And then I got it down to the right handle width there. Looks really good. It's got a chestnutty color. This Osage wood actually gets darker with age. It wasn't this dark when I first made it. It was a lighter orangery color. Now it's getting more of a sweet tea color. And the darker it gets, it's gonna get like bourbon color. Nice bow. All right, we're gonna shoot it in just a little bit. Y'all hang on though. I got some more stuff to show you. Okay, let me give y'all a quick how this works. Your wood here that you use, and you split it out of the tree you're gonna use, Osage, hickory, walnut, pecan, whatever you're gonna use. You'll make you like a long stick of firewood about this wide, about 4 inches wide. And right here is a demonstration of that. What they call the back of the bow is the bark side. And the belly of the bow is going to be this side right here. The bark side is facing away from you, and the belly side is the part of the bow facing you when you shoot it. But anyway, right here's what they call a stave. Long piece of narrow firewood. They call it a stave. Right here's what it looked like. And you have to take the bark off, and this red layer here is what it's called the inner bark. It's a real thin layer. On Osage orange, it's cream colored. But on hickory and other hardwoods, it looks like a paper sack. It's brown. And you take the bark off, and you have to take this inner bark off. And this first layer right here of wood, the first growth ring, is what your back's gonna be made out of. Okay? If you cut through a growth ring and don't fix it, then your bow will splinter right there at that spot when you pull it back to shoot it. So you have to be a solid growth ring on the back. And this little thin layer of inner bark, that is, you have to scrape that off. And that's what we're fixing to get to about my pocket knife. Okay. Right here's the tools I use, minus the bandsaw. Now you use the bandsaw to get just the crude shape of it. You don't cut to the line with a bandsaw. You just get the shape. And then you come down to the line with hand tools. This right here is called a drawing knife. Really sharp. And you have your work in a vise, and you're pulling it to you like this. This right here takes that bark off, in a snap. I mean, just a couple seconds, you've got it off. You have to be real careful or you'll cut all the way through to your growth ring and ruin it. So you just take the bark off and the top little bit of the inner bark with this. This right here is a cabinet scraper. Has a burr on each side. You hold it like this and you scrape like that. You take the rest of the inner bark off with this too. And when you get around knots and stuff that's not flat, like this right here, this hump, and around knots, around places where you've left a bubble to strengthen it, your cabinet scraper ain't gonna get it because your cabinet scraper's got a flat edge. So you're gonna have to use a spade blade on the old trapper. That's where this knife come in. Okay. Roughing it up and cutting it to the line, a big wood rasp. That right there, get it. Then you use a mill file to sweeten up where the wood rasp is tore up. Then you use this and you knife again to get it smoothed up. And then you do countless hours of sandpaper grits and all the way down to steel wool to get it looking like this. Now this bow here, I sinew back this bow with deer sinew, as the Native Americans did. And I'll show you which book I learned how to do that. And I also glued the snake skins on there. And the sinew and the snake skins are glued on with what you call hide glue. I ordered that out of an Archer magazine, but it's a hide glue, and it's the same thing that the Native Americans use. Okay, let me show you quick some of the books here, and y'all can pause on the book when I hold it up, and that way y'all can get the name of the book. Okay, this is Traditional Bowler's Bible, Volume 1. Okay, Traditional Bowler's Bible, Volume 2. Volume 3. Volume 4. Okay, this right here, number 1, is all you're gonna have to make a bow. These others delve into the history of the bow, and they give what bows were made out of and back in time in different countries, and it gives the dimensions of them. So you can make an exact replica of like a medieval bow or a bow from Southeast Asia or anything like that. It has stuff in here like this, flint knapping, all kinds of stuff. But this one right here has the basic how to build a bow and how to make a bowstring and stuff like that. This book right here is all you need. All right, this book right here, bows and arrows of Native Americans. This book right here, I learned how to do the sinew backing, and that keeps your bow together and gives it more speed and all that, and put the snake skins on, the hide glue and stuff like that. This bow, I'll tell you about that. Plus, it has a lot of historical stuff about the tribes, what kind of wood they used, and their designs on bows, and it's got dimensions in there, so you can make replicas of different Indian tribes, Native American tribes. This bow here is a bent stick by, this book here is a bent stick by Paul Comstock, and it delves into making basic bow out of commonly woods around your house, like hickory and walnut and mulberry and black locust and stuff like that. This book right here, I'll tell you how to do that. Okay, I know y'all waited long enough, so we're gonna get out there in the yard and shoot this thing. Thank y'all for watching my video this week about my 81 Trapper and my Osage orange bow. Look at it in this light, man. It's got a chestnutty color. Sure looks good. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. And I found 2 arrows from 20 years ago. I found a target from 20 years ago. So we're gonna shoot this thing. It may blow up on us. I don't know. We'll see what we could do with two old arrows here. Go see where we hit it at. It's not bad for, I ain't shot nothing in 20 years. I need to practice some more though, because I wasn't shooting at that and I was shooting at this. But it still ain't bad for 20 years ago. I sure thank y'all for watching. Next week we'll have another wonderful knife to look at.